Hello everyone and welcome back for Wednesday's English lesson. Today we are going to look at, now that Arthur has arrived at the land of the gods, he's got to walk up an enormous flight of stairs, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Okay, so a familiar learning objective that we've looked at a lot recently, to build plot and narrative through different writing styles. Again, today, different writing styles today means poetry. Okay, so your objective and your task is to write a riddle, kenning, or poem. So I've left it really open for you today to describe Arthur's journey up the staircase. Your poem doesn't have to rhyme. Okay, riddles, remember, you don't want to tell them. I'll probably use the word staircase because they're going to know exactly what it means. And a kenning, I'll leave that nice and open because, it might be tricky when it comes to staircase, but you've looked at them recently. We did some kennings last term, so go back to those videos on kennings if you want some extra help with that one. And I've asked here, use modifying adjectives. These are interesting. Modifying adjectives simply means something that gives that extra bit of detail that changes the adjective. If you say that someone has sharp teeth, that's fine, everything. But if they are razor sharp, for example, like the wolf's teeth might be razor sharp, if you touch them, you're probably going to have a cut on your finger, aren't you? Razor sharp. So a modifying adjective adds that extra depth of information. Okay, this is amazing for year 4 work. I really want everyone using it though. Onomatopoeia would be interesting, like huffed and puffed. Okay, remember onomatopoeia being the sounds people make as they go up the staircase. Use a simile to compare two things, as tall as a something. And even better if lines that rhyme if possible, but that is not essential because this is quite tricky and I don't want it to be too hard for you. So here is the illustration. Okay, I'll zoom in as much as I can. There's a big house, almost like a temple on top of a mountain. And here we have Arthur's little blow, and it shows him, it's not several Arthurs, it's probably just his journey up, but it's an enormous staircase. Look how tall it goes. He's had a little break here, probably taken in the view. It must be an amazing view there. He's kept on going, and eventually he arrives at the top of this temple in this house. So tall that there are clouds around him. Okay, so this must be some mountain that he is walking up. So for ideas, I've said here, how do you feel when walking up a staircase? Okay, because when you're at home, you might not live in a house, you might live in a flat, or you might live in a bungalow, so you might not have a staircase, but think about when you have walked up a staircase. How does your body feel? How do you feel when you're walking up it? Imagine how you would feel if the staircase went into the clouds. So think about how tired you'd be. By the time we're reaching this point of this enormous winding staircase, I'd be pretty exhausted by that point. My legs would feel very sore. My lungs would probably be screaming in my chest. I'd probably be very sweaty as well and out of breath. That's why I'd probably be huffing and puffing. What could you hear, do you think? If you were this high up, what do you think you could hear? Do you think you could hear the wind whistling past your ears? And then how might your body feel? We've mentioned this already. You might have sore legs. Your muscles might be shaking. Probably not feeling fantastic. Your heart might be pounding in your chest as you walk up. And remember, who is at the top of this? Well, we talked about that fire god, didn't we? So he might even be feeling butterflies and a little bit anxious as he's walking up the steps because he's probably worried about what he's going to see when he gets there. Okay, so I've done a little bit of poetry here. It's not amazing. I've done what I can in the time I've done. Again, there's not very much of it, but it's because I'm not going to do all of the work for you. So I've called mine the winding stairs, and I've kept it nice and simple. A little bit of alliteration at the start. Tall, towering, and triumphant, the building sat proudly atop the mountain. Now, because that's my first line, I know it's on 2 little lines here, but that's the thing I want my reader to read, and then I've got a comma which shows the next line is coming so they can take a breath. So in poetry, you don't always need to finish a line with a full stop. Tall, towering and triumphant, the buildings sat proudly atop the mountain. Okay, so it sat atop, basically on top. Tiptoe, tiptoe, soft footsteps sneaking up the steps. Huff, puff, feet dragging heavier and heavier. Okay, so it's not amazing, none of it rhymes, but that's all okay. I could improve many things in here, but I'm going to try and include as many of these as I can. I could have said never-ending staircase or something like that. Now, if you choose to do a riddle, remember, don't use staircase in it. You're going to have to write and make sure that your reader can guess what the riddle is about. Kenning, again, think about things like razor sharp, never ending, winding steps. Okay, and if you go for a poem, do your best, do what you can, don't stress about this, guys. Keep it nice and simple for yourselves. I want a decent poem though. Okay, if you do one and it takes you 4 or 5 lines, do another one, please. Do 2 or 3, okay, or do a riddle and a kenning. If you really want the challenge, do all 3 if you've got enough time. But I don't want you to do one tiny piece of work. Really put some good quality writing into this. Okay, so that's everything for today, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.